Hey youngsters, do you still recall what your parents said about strangers? As it turns out, they were entirely mistaken. Strangers are great in every way. At least that's what the following collection of amusing remarks from our friend Jeff Wysaski of Pleated suggests. So it's time to start trusting strangers rather than your parents. No, please don't put your confidence in total strangers, okay? The craziest notes that people have ever written to complete strangers are seen below. But before that, do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more such hilarious videos. Okay, let's begin. If you agree, check this box. So here we have someone taking advantage of a strange situation to develop a trend. You don't often enter a public restroom and discover a clean toilet bowl. However, the author of this note made sure of that. To be the wise guy, someone decided to ask everyone who remembered to flush to sign that they did. It's a humorous approach to encouraging folks to perform a simple task like flushing the toilet. It seemed to have worked because everyone also laughed at the humor. Now you'll know the offender not only had bad hygiene, but also a lousy sense of humor if you enter and see a dirty toilet bowl. The horsey marked as territory. The majority of people would categorize this horse as evil, and they're likely correct. We're aware that the car's owners would most likely concur. It's a good thing that the horse's owner came up with a clever solution to make the issue less bothersome. We find it amusing that the horse's owner felt compelled to accept responsibility for their pet's misdeed, and more surprisingly, that they do it in writing. We really hope the thoughtfulness is acknowledged, but the name of the horse is what really cracks me up. The funniest horse name on the list is unquestionably Tic Tac. Play Find the Ticket now. The fact that everyone despises traffic cops, meter maids, and parking police is something they all have in common. Although receiving a traffic citation is never pleasant, we must admit the officers are just trying to keep everyone safe by doing their jobs. Someone made the decision to pull a little trick on the traffic warden by making them look for the parking ticket that gives them permission to park there. Sorting through those tickets to find the proper one will cause the officer to perspire heavily. To put it mildly, it's pure wickedness, but it's also brilliant, so we must acknowledge it. 3. Cat safety signs. Everyone knows how cunning cats can be, and nothing is more alluring to them than a place they're not permitted to visit. The great outdoors is, in this instance, the case. They did originate from the jungle, so it stands to reason that they occasionally enjoy going out and about. One notice seemed insufficient to deter these small creatures from bolting the moment the door opens. Actually, it appears that 2 signs would not have been sufficient as well. The third time's the charm, as they say. Effective right away. Any job makes it tough to give your 2-week notice, and yes, it's perhaps a touch unprofessional to announce your resignation with a stick figure drawing on a piece of lined paper that was obviously taken from a notebook. Email, in our opinion, is the bare minimum format for today's communications. However, mad props for originality. If you think about it, it's kind of savage. Not even a 2-week notice was provided. She merely typed, effective immediately. We assume the adage, when you've got to go, is accurate. And that holds true in terms of employment as well. Beyond this point, Daves are the only people allowed. This is a strangely detailed memo for what is likely some type of office refrigerator, but the caution is very obvious. We can assume that Dave, who sent this note, is the sole Dave who works here and has probably experienced the purposeful or unintentional poaching of his favorite green tea beverage on a number of occasions. This amusing note is a simple approach to making sure that an error such as this never occurs. Now that they're aware of who owns the drink, maybe everyone who opens the fridge will stay away. What if the business hires a second Dave, though? He could have to come up with a different amusing technique to spread the word or just decide to do so. Actual office space. In case anyone in this room missed the point, the phrase "that would be great" at the end is taken from the classic film Office Space, where it's constantly spoken by the detestable boss Lumbergh. We adore those cult classic movies that are centered on the workplace. Therefore, using that language in regular notes, especially in an office situation, makes perfect sense. The fact that he made absolutely no effort to correct his spelling or grammar shows how little this individual cares about his work. But kudos on the illusion. We hope his supervisor found it amusing. We really adore how careless the boss's message is. We can anticipate something a little more official to call it quits in the workplace. 3rd time's the charm. The most important thing for a pet owner to do is to be aware of all of their pet's sly little habits. The parent of this cat is well aware of them and likely learned the hard way. This person has a few cunning little critters that will bolt out the door at the first opportunity to explore the wide outdoors and will likely return all sloppy and dirty. Anybody attempting to open the door would be advised to be cautious of these cunning animals making a run for it by a sign that has been taped onto the door. But I think one sign was sufficient. 3 signals should be enough to make everyone understand the message and alert them to the presence of the cat, especially the large, the stealthy bugger. Poetic goodbyes, I'm so sorry for leaving. We value excellent quit notices when we see them since they're uncommon. We find it innovative that this individual is mimicking the traditional I'm sorry for your loss card. Maybe it's a tad dramatic and over the top, but we all support it. At least Alex was thoughtful enough to allow them 2 weeks to prepare for his leave of absence. We want to think that the crew values him highly enough to use such theatrical effects. The sweet poem should stir up some feelings as well. Please avoid spoilers here. We're drawn to epic TV shows for some reason and want to follow along at every turn. You probably don't care much for spoilers even if you don't want to miss a thing. It's nearly impossible to escape spoilers after missing an episode of a show with epic dimensions like Game of Thrones. When Game of Thrones was at its peak, it was challenging to go somewhere without running into someone discussing the previous episode. This person planned ahead and wanted to take all necessary precautions to make sure that none of their coworkers ruined the show. We must commend their efforts and sincerely hope that they weren't ultimately let down. Why are you so unique? Before we get into this one, we should probably address the obvious question. Does the artist of this drawing always have chalk in their bag? We're relieved to have that off our chest. Everyone has come across those who seem to believe they deserve everything. People of this mindset believe they can park anywhere they choose, regardless of parking lines. Well, this person was prepared with the chalk to expose their truly douchey behavior. Disclaimer to the public, this love note isn't yours. It's difficult to imagine the embarrassment one could have after realizing they picked the wrong automobile and put a love note on their wife's car the other night. If you ever find yourself in a situation like that, sending out a disclaimer as this guy did will certainly help to clean up any misunderstandings. Of course, you also have to feel sorry for the recipient of the penned love note. What a letdown it would be to believe you have a hidden admirer just to find out that the note wasn't for you. Ouch. Quick and simple. Some people dislike using veiled language. Their approach is to keep things brief, sweet, and to the point. There's no doubt in my mind that the person who penned this note is one of those people. Is the message obvious? Absolutely. Does it lack certain emotional quality? Yes. Without a doubt, but that's not what we're here for. You know, to each his or her own. Accidental frosty glass. The most awkward situation has to be when someone walks in on you when you're in the restroom. This person's attempt to stop it from happening had a negative reaction. Imagine placing one-way frosted glass in the bathroom so no one can see you, only to find out that they were installed with the wrong side facing in. It's fortunate that the neighbors thought to inform you, and even more fortunate that they chose not to discuss it face to face. However, the situation is still quite unpleasant, so leaving immediately is a possibility. A little help from Carly. It seems that perhaps quoting a well-known song will lessen the impact if you had to contact someone else because they're blocking your driveway. Even if the individual who blocked the driveway certainly didn't deserve it, they still received something inventive. Nothing can stop you from quoting when the impulse strikes, not even someone who's preventing you from pulling out of your driveway. Jay. Who is he? Okay, a lot of questions are raised by this note. The note doesn't explain why, but it won't be unreasonable to infer that Rusty is a dog, and keeping it from escaping the apartment is a top issue. Although we should question why people require the warning to comprehend that keeping the AC inside is so sensible. But the most pressing question is, who particularly is Jay? Is he a kid or a different animal in the house? Why is he not able to leave? And does anyone ever wonder why his name wasn't included in the original notice but was instead inserted as an afterthought? Well, that's all for this video. Let us know which note was your favorite in the comments section below. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more of these videos. See you next time. Bye!